Hello everyone. How are you? Hope all is well with you all and you are doing okay. There is a thin line between love and hate, and justice and injustice. Because when you really love someone and they hurt you, especially if they hurt you bad, depending on your state of mind, once that love turns to hate, it's deep. Anything is possible. Now, with justice and injustice, when two different persons commit similar crimes, but the case is handled very differently because one is uptown rich people and the next is regular nobody in their eyes. What is going to happen there now is that the people with eyes to see is taking on a perspective of how unbalanced and unfair the justice system is, and even the powers that be is handling the cases based on your level in society and your address. And these are the kind of things that helps to create hatefulness amongst the people, because at the end of the day nothing is being done fairly for everyone across the board. Yet we be the first ones to say, out of many, one people could have fooled me. That is why so much bad mind is amongst the people, and it seems like an endless and tiresome journey in this direction, as nothing is going to get better, because people are beginning to feel like, you know what, there's really no hope. So it don't make no sense me do all the right things, because at the end of the day, that is not what is going to determine your outcome. Now, I noticed that Mathew Hyde attorney is petitioning to keep his prison sentence down to a low of at least 3 years. Imagine, after he did this gruesome criminal act in 2023, where he tortured and forced KIDNAPPING and held CAPTIVE his ex-girlfriend. Guys, me sorry for if I can't spell because with YouTube some words are sensitive and I have to do so at least for those who can read and spell, they can at least understand where I'm coming from. It would have seemed that this rich people pitney that felt so entitled could not accept the fact that his girlfriend says no and is moving on without him. So instead, what he did was lured her and held her captive without her consent, then began to hurt her in every way imaginable. Just to name a few, like using hot clothes iron on her SKIN, face and back and private areas, arms and buttocks, BEATINGS with BELT, and the whole karate procedure as box kicks and thumps. Then you're beginning to think, what kind of mind thinks of doing stuff like that to another? It just got to be an evil mind. Yet he is not from a poor household. And people may say, depend on who you're asking, how his mother and father are such awesome people. But I bet you they are not so awesome as parents. How I look at it, you see, if proper attention was being paid to this youth, all that aggression would have been noticed from early, and all that aggression would not be there. Follow me, guys. Grown folks, you will understand what I'm saying. Everything goes back to how you grow your child, what you allow your child to get away with. You could have 10 helpers and everything on Christ's earth you have given to this child. That is not enough to say you are a good parent. If you are not doing proper nurturing, the child is still left with emptiness, loneliness, and a need for a genuine connection with someone. If he had felt connections with people genuinely, he would not have this urge to having to do this, to hold on to this girl. The fact that you want to go, you can tell that connecting on a positive level was lacking. Plus, he feels entitled. Remember, in his eyes, he is a rich kid or comes from a well-to-do family. So he's feeling like any plaything he wants to have, he's supposed to have it on his own terms because he's entitled to. How dare you say no? He has no soul, no empathy, knows nothing of real love. I know a lot of people use this word and throw it around. Love, love, love. Yes, I love you. Yeah, man, love you, man, love you. And everybody is saying it. And it is not something just to say. It is something you got to feel, or it doesn't work. So you can just imagine when he got angry, all that get crisscrossed in his mind. And these kind of stuff is the outcome. Now, his attorney is trying to put forward that Hyde suffered from physical and emotional abuse, chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. Now you tell me, which regular Jamaican youth don't suffer from one or two or all of those disorders and more and still have to function in this life? As far as I can see, it is the parents' fault in how they nurturing him and how he was socializing. Because if he's doing things, and he must have done things that have put up red flags, and you're accepting of them and overlooking them, those actions, simple as they may seem, tell him it's okay to be who you are. Too much times, parents get away from being responsible for their actions and the actions of their children with, I don't know how him or she comes up. The thing is, when regular ghetto youths go before the courts, none of those things are taken into consideration about their lives and what they've been through. Some grow up in squalors, no light, or if they do have any steeping light and water, one or two parents taken out in front of them, hear pellets hitting roofs, going through the night like them they are Vietnam. All kind of intimate abuse from a tender age they have experienced. Each day they are not sure what they are going to eat today, and really and truly they have little or no hope for tomorrow. Many of them have to walk around and beg clothes and food. Now tell me, how much of them ever get arrested for what Mathew Hyde did to this young lady? Jamaicans are such hypocrites. Because of his family status in Jamaica, we must have emotional empathy for him. Him need to go prison and go spend some time. And since him family have money, pay a hefty sum to the young lady because she's definitely scarred for life. All of a sudden, we are being reminded of forgiveness and how we should have empathy on him because Jamaica is a Christian country. I'm wondering if this lawyer is crazy or what. Christianity and Jamaica is just a myth. You know, see how much people get takeout every day and they never stop to think of no Christianity country thing. Because when these crimes are being perpetrated, nobody is thinking about no Christianity, and it don't play any part to alleviate the situation either. I tell you, you guys, the powers that be is not reading the ground. What you lot do not understand is that the youths look on at Christians, pastors, politicians, teachers, bankers, celebrity as one big group of criminals that are called up from time to time doing the worst acts in the society. So this talk about using a Christian heart to have empathy for Mathew Hyde, try know most Christians' heart is not what it should be. So move with that. His lawyers are also expressing how very sorry he is for what he did. Let me tell you something. That guy only sorry he got caught and wish he had the power to just let it go away. And trust and believe, he has more confidence in his parents' money to get away from this more than anything biblical. Remember, this guy went as far as to share naked pictures of the young lady with other people. This young lady was lucky because it's another student on campus who alerted the police, who rescued her from Hyde's room at the George Allen Hall at the University of the West Indies, Mena campus. It is said he was moving suspiciously after she'd been missing for a while, and then they start to figure it out, and that's when the police was called in, and that's when he was also arrested. Can you imagine what he would have done next after all that torturing her? You guys really think eventually he would let her go to get caught and to go to prison? I doubt that. This was a most gruesome and cruel act that he did to her, and she's so young. He did absolutely everything to damage her. Can you believe how cold you got to be at only 21 years old to do some things like that? You are empty. Yes, I know some will say you can't only blame the parents, but really and truly it started there. Let me ask you this. You ever plant a plant in your garden, and when you get a heavy rain it beat down on it, leaning it up to one side? So you go out there, you straighten it, you put more dirt around it, leaving it upright. Then a heavy wind and a bit of rain pass through. It leans, but not as bad as before. You go balance it again, get it upright, and you see it staying upright. No matter what the wind and the rain, that's called nurturing. It eventually stands the way that you wanted it to, because guess what? It got supported, loved, and nurtured. And just remember, the earliest stage is the most important for the grooming. After that is pure guidance. And that's what most children that come turn adult criminals are missing in their life. Life is about experiencing and learning. As you go along, you learn to understand what's really important. Let me share a little story with you. When my children was young, we went to the country to visit relatives, and we usually do that at summertime. And there was this little boy. Now, because I have children, he would be always around the children. I noticed the mother would deal with him away. She deal with him really rough, like shouting at him, calling him name, embarrassing him. telling him all kind of stuff, him too ugly and him too nuff, I would often tell her, it's okay, he can stay. She would say stuff like, him nasty, him for come go bed now. I would say to her, okay, he can go have a bath and come back because I know he wants it to come back. And maybe by me just saying so, he will get a chance to come back. She would just push him in his head as he goes along. And I would just look on and just shake my head. 2 toes after him bed, he would be right back there. One day my son come call me and say, Mommy, look, him catch the lizard and trying to burn the lizard alive. And that was the most I see that child laugh when he's doing that with the lizard. I would talk to him about it and tell him it's not to do it because he would like anybody do that to him, because it's a living, breathing thing and everything matters. Worse, I didn't want my children thinking that was okay. Sometimes the mother would pass by the house and say, I hope him not giving no trouble, cause him rude and should push him in his head. It's a regular style of how she deal with him. The thing is, he never gave any trouble. Anytime he does anything, I'm always praising him and kissing him on his forehead. When we're going down by the river, I would walk holding him in one hand and holding my next son in the other hand while the bigger ones run along. Sometimes we'd go up to the shop on the road, and if his mother come along, she would always be running him and like pushing him. And I would say to her, please stop talking to him like that. I told him to come with me, it's okay. And I would tell him to pick whatever he wanted. After all, it's just snacks and juice. We spent a week in the country and I'm telling you, he stopped by us. The first thing I wake up in the morning is him on the steps. Last minute at night, him don't even want to go up to his house. He's there until his mother or some relative take him home. He is so helpful and so loving. All what the mother would say about him, I never see him do it, and he never acted anyway. So our week was up and it's time to get back to Kingston. He was crying. I'm telling you, this youth was about 7 years old. He was hugging on me and he was crying. So his mother would say, you want to go on with them? Go on with them, man. Go on with them. I thought it was a joke at first. So I said, you want him come to Kingston and spend the rest of the summer holidays with us? And she was only too glad to say yes. Pack him bag and off we went. I tell you, when I took him home, he was happy. He was even more helpful than my own kids. One evening after dinner, I noticed him in the kitchen wanting to wash up the dishes. I said, no, you're a child. It's your duty to just relax and have fun and be a child. I tell him he don't have to do that and don't do it again. He then began to telling me that his mother always give him them to do, and he wash all pot to and all of those things. And even his clothes, he said most of his clothes he washed them, but unlike him church clothes and uniform his mother wash. Well, I said, you won't be doing that here, love. I took him on the plaza with my children. He never let go of my hands. I'm telling you, I had to get him clothes and shoes to let him fit in. And on different days, I let him experience the fast food restaurants like Pizza Hut. McDonald's was a favorite of them because they get the little gift in it. And generally those times you had the little playhouse that they could go into at McDonald's. KFC, Burger King, you name it. And I allow him to pick what he wanted. He wasn't getting piece of something or some of something. He get his own little package. He was so surprised. I treated him in the exact same way I would have treat my children. I tried to keep him to get him into school. He had a bit of a medical issue with his stomach and it had started to cost me already. Had to keep getting some medication for him. Only to find out with the schooling part of it and the birth paper, he seemed to have so much different name. We were calling him one name, He registered one name and the mother nicknamed him another name. It was complicated. But very soon, the grandmother, which is his father's mother, came to Jamaica and she wanted to take him. I think she was doing some filing thing and so on. And she did take him back overseas with her. Because the grandmother was explaining to me that they've been wanting to take him from the mother for a while because she is very cruel and beats him a lot. Anyway, he eventually did go. We lose contact along the way. Fast forward about roughly 20 years later, when I was going to do my surgery, I was speaking to my aunt on the phone and she said, guess who I spoke to yesterday? She told me him and that he was asking for me. By the next day, he called me because my aunt gave him the number. And we talked for so long. And I told him that I'm about to do my surgery. And he said, I'm sending something for you. I'm going to give it to your auntie. Trust and believe, the next day my auntie called me and told me that she's coming to see me. That he had sent some money and give her to give me. And how much he had told her. The time he met me, there was no one to show him any love. And when he came to spend time with me, it changed his life forever. And he was pleasantly surprised. I never treated him differently from any of my children. That's why I always tell you guys, you see, children, they do grow up. And just like when you do good for them, they will never forget. And they will never forget who do good for them. Or just like when you hurt them or treat them anyway, they will never forget that either. It plays a part in who they turn out to be later on in life. Now he's married and he has his own children and so on. But what I'm saying is that the nurturing years of your children, you can't run joke with that. You can't just throw them by the wayside and think later on in life you're going to try to bend the tree that time and try to change something. It's not going to work. You have to put in the molding time to get the best result out of these children. The thing is, I'm glad I made an impact in his life, and it's something he will never forget. And I know if he was to give out his heart to some child out there that need a hand, he'll remember that somebody did good for him in his time of needs. I could say more, but the long and short of it is that I stood up for him and make sure everything went through okay and he went away. I say this to say, parents, just saying I'm there for my child and him no want for anything, that's not enough, because everyone accept love differently and everyone needs love. Words of affirmation, affection, it is the fertilizer of a healthy mind and body to put out good human beings out in society. I implore you parents, do better. Children never asked to be born. However, Mathew Hyde goes back to court on December the 9th at 2 p.m. where his sentencing will continue, and I hope justice is served. However, the victim's lawyer is suing for a hefty compensation package, which would definitely be deserving. Anyway guys, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to my platform, please. Love you all. Bye for now.